Hi everyone, it's Kay from the Paper Shed. Hope you're all doing well. Thanks so much for coming back and joining me again today. I'm back with another ink stained archives collaboration with the lovely Mandy from SunflowersAndDors and Nathalie from LineDotArrow. And I did ask in one of the videos or the previous videos about whether we wanted to do a journal or a folio, and everybody picked folio. It isn't something I've wanted to do this for ages, and I'm so excited to bring it to you. So I'm going to go over the measurements now. The main measurements, which is just the base, which is 2 A4 sheets, is just the base. That's none of the flips and the flaps and the whatever you want to put into your folio. Now that is up to you. I will give you the measurements of what I've got here, with some of the ideas that I'm going to be using, but I don't want you to go away and think that's what you have to do. You can do the inside exactly how you want to do it. I just want to get you the base so that you can create the base and then you can create the folio however you want to do it. I will, however, give you the measurements of my flips and flaps just to show you where the remainder of the A4 sheets go, because I didn't want to cut anything off. I wanted to utilise everything from the 2 A4 sheets. So I'll show you the basis of that, and then I'll give you the measurements for the flaps, and I'll give you some ideas of what we can do inside pockets wise and with added bits. Now I do want to do a waterfall. I also want to put in a small journal. I've also got pockets and things going on that I've added in. Some of the flips, some of the flaps, like this one, is part of the base. So I've put, or going to add there a pocket for a bookmark. Sorry, I'm on my screen. So I'm going to put there a pocket for a bookmark, which is because that's the end of the base. The same as this one here is the end of the base page. So these ones will automatically be there, and you'll get it as when you see how the base is done. So I'm going to start with my 2 A4 sheets. Now I have got it written down here just so that I can follow it. Oh, sorry, that's a blank one. So if I show you the blank one, that might be better. So this is 2 A4 sheets, and I've scored it in my various places for it to match. And then what I've done is I've glued it at the back here. So what I've got is an extra flap here, which is not part of a page. And I've also got an extra flap here, which is the end of the first page. So you will automatically have those to start with. The rest will be obviously your own thoughts on the process if that's the right thing. So I'm just going to put my measurements up there so that I can follow along. And I'm going to need my bigger scoreboard. So we are going to need, you're going to need the bigger scoreboard because you need to go right across your page. We're going to start on the longest side of your A4. So your first A4 sheet, you can write it on if it helps you. So this is your first A4 sheet. Okay, this one will be your second A4 sheet, and then we'll work it from there. Okay, so the first one, just need to get my measurements out. So your first score line is going to be 4.5. Score all the way down. Then you're going to score at 5. That's your first spine. Okay. Then you're going to do 9.5. And you're going to do 10. That's your second spine. Okay. So you've got you should have 4 score lines. So that is 4.5, 5, 9.5, 10. I've tried to do it as easy as possible. Bring your second sheet in. you want to do 1/2 inch to start with. Okay. Then you're going to score at 5. Okay. Then you're going to score at 9.5. So on your second sheet, you've only got 3 score lines. Okay. Now I will darken those so that you can see them. I don't need that for the minute, so I'm just going to pop that away for a second. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to crease these in. Just going to burnish them in. So burnish all your lines in, out, round about, wherever you want to do them. Doesn't matter which way you go because you might alter it as you go along anyway. Just as long as they go both ways. So I want this craft text. Craft text, it's not craft text. This craft card is lighter on the inside and darker on the outside. So I want the darker pieces on my outside. Okay, I'm just going to make sure that I've got them round the right way to start with. Okay, and then what we're going to do is this, shall I ink, and then you can see where I'm going. It might be helpful for you to see and understand. Okay, just ink those lines up so that you can actually see them. And I need to do them both ways, don't I? Yes. If we turn them over, you're going to want to see which ones they are. Okay, just quickly do these ones as well. Not a bad idea to do this actually, because it helps. Or you'll probably have to do it as we go along and fill it up anyway, so it's probably not a bad idea to do the inking part. So what we're going to do next is, this is our sheet 1, and this is my outside, that's my inside, so it's got to come around this way. So you want your flap on your right hand side. Now this one is sheet 2, and you want your flap again on your right hand side. So this crease here is a 1/2 inch crease here. We're going to fit that into this crease here, because we're going to join it together. Okay, and I didn't ink that piece. Just quickly do that, just so that you can see it. Okay, so we're going to fit this into there. Now, as I say, my craft card has got a right and a wrong way, so I'm just making sure that mine are the right way. Now, you can do this with tape or you can do it with glue. I always prefer glue. I have used tape in the past because I used to make photo albums all the time, and there used to be a lot of matting that went on, and we used to use tape for that. So tape is fine, it works. There's no rhyme or reason you shouldn't use it. And I'm going to just butt my edge up to that score line. I don't want to go over it, I just want to go to it. So I want to butt that end of this second sheet up to that score line. Okay, so that I can see my score line and all the way down. Okay, that's it. And then press that in. I'm going to burnish it. Make sure that's caught and there's no seepage of glue anywhere. And then what you'll have is, this is your front. This will end up being a pocket of some sort. Now it can go in or out, doesn't matter which way you turn it to make use of it. And then this is going to come in, that's going to come in, and then you've got another flap here, which is the end of your first A4 sheet. Now you can use that as a closure if you prefer, so you can close it like this, or you can use it as a pocket on the inside, or yeah, we could turn it that way if we scored it again. So there's lots of ways to be able to use it. Just bear in mind where it is and what it's for. So that will be your full sheet. So let's just go over again, and I'll just give you these. Now, it's 4.5 on your first sheet of A4 paper. It's 4.5, 5, 9.5, and 10. Your second sheet of A4 paper is 1/2, 5, 9.5. Now, the reason that I've done it this way, or tried to create it this way, is if you're in the US and you have got your papers, because they're slightly different if you're using US sizes, they're slightly different. Don't worry about that. The height of it doesn't matter. So if it's larger this way, it doesn't matter. Because it's larger on the ends, I think it is, isn't it? Because are they not 11.5 instead of 11.25? You've only got a little bit left over anyway. But because the ends, these flaps, don't matter, it's just what the remainder of the paper is. So you can do this perfectly well with US size paper. It's just that this pocket may be slightly longer and this pocket will be slightly longer. And we're going to use them all. You don't need to cut it off. You don't need to change your sizes. You don't need anything. You just need to stick them together this way and you will have a perfect, well, let's fold that in. You will have a perfectly good folio to work with that is like this. Okay? So it will work with A4 or US size. Don't worry about it. Whatever's left over, again, will just be used up in the size of your pocket. So I hope all that is made for you to understand. If you don't understand any of it, please do send me a message. I will be more than happy to help you and to see where we're going with it. So that's your base made. So what we're going to do next is these flippy flappies on here. Now I just want to I made these a while ago and I just want to make sure with my piece, yeah. Okay, so I've incorporated the flip bit. So your first flip, which is this one, this is for the front of your book. If you don't want to use this and you want to do something different, or you want to use, which piece was it? I don't know. I can't do it on that one. This one, I can show you on this one. If you want to use this flap as your closure, then by all means do that. Make a pretty journal cover topper on the top of there and close it like this. That's perfectly fine too. Do whatever suits you best. I just want to give the measurements for the flips and flaps if you want them. So your first flap, which is your largest flap, is 4 by 6 3/4. So it's 6 3/4 long. It's 4 across this way, but that includes this half inch. Just check that it is half inch gusset there. It's not gusset, is it? Flap for your attachment. So it's 4 by 6 3/4, and you score it on the longest side at half inch, and that will give you this flap. On your second flap, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/4, that's 5 1/4 that way, 4 1/4 this way. I'll just check that. Yeah, 4 1/4. And then you do a half inch on this side. So your 5 1/4 butts up to, doesn't, your 4 1/4 butts up the top of your scoreboard, and you score at a 1/2 inch there to give you this flap. And then your third and final flap, and you can do as many of these as you want to. You don't have to do 3, you can do 2. You don't have to do just 3, you can do 4 or however many you want. Your last and final flap on this particular folio is 3.5 by 4, and you score it at a 1/2 inch on your 3.5 inch side. Okay, so your final flap becomes 3 by 4. This final flap becomes 3 3/4 by 5 1/4, and this particular flap becomes 3.5 by 6 3/4. Okay, that's for those flaps, and these flaps here are exactly the same. I've used exactly the same size guide for those. Okay, now if you want to do a waterfall, my waterfall pieces I've used out of, all I've done with the pieces that I'm putting in is I've used them from the scrap that I've used out of this. So I've tried to use as much of the craft card as possible. So I've created 5 waterfalls, and I've made them at 4 by 5, and I've scored them on the long side at a 1/2 inch, so they become 4 by 4 squares. Okay, and I've made 5 of those, and what I shall do is I've done it at 1 inch purely because when I put them up I want to be able to get them all in the one page like this, and plus 1 inch sort of gives you a better you know, place to do things with, and these then should fit all the way down to the bottom, 5 of them. But it gives you a better place for wording or that sort of thing. If you leave them shorter, then it gets harder to match them, for one. And obviously you can't really do a lot with them. Whereas this way, we can actually put words on there or whatever we want to. Don't know what the plan is yet. We'll just have to see as we go along. So on our third side is going to be my journaling space. Now I am going to change this out for the papers from the kit, but that is where that's going to go. This was just to remind me of where that went. And then if we move it along again, I've created this pocket here, which we will be doing a little bit more to. I was contemplating putting another pocket in here. This is the first flap bit that we come across, and I'm going to use that as a bookmark pocket. So my pocket goes on and my bookmark goes inside, and that fits this perfectly. Now if you're in the US, you're going to have to measure whatever your flaps are to be able to make this part, because that's what will be different in the US. But this pocket here I've used as a 4.5 by 8 1/4, and I've scored it at 1/2 inch. Okay, and that's all the inside done for now. So the next part is your little flaps that you have left over. Now if you're in the US, that's going to be slightly different, so you'll need to measure this yourself. I know that this needs to be, this is it's just slightly under 2 1/4, so I need this, the pocket size, to be 1 1/8 at the front, so that my 2 inch bookmark will fit inside. Okay, so I'm going to need it to have a gusset, not a gusset, but a folded pocket rather than a flat glued on pocket. So what I need to do is I need to pick the size I want, which is 3 inches, and I've picked a length of 4 1/4. So my length is 4 1/4 and across is 3 inches. I'm going to just correct these markings because I've made a mistake on here. Just going to put that at 3, just so that I'm not confusing myself. And then I want to get 1 1/8 in between. So I've scored it at 1/4, and I've scored this side at just less than 1/4. So I think you're just going to have to go with whatever size you've got. and that's going to fit onto there like so, and then this 2-inch will fit in nicely into my pocket. Okay, like so. So we turn it over. We've got some more of the flip flaps that are on the front. Now you can do something different there if you want to. I just want to be able to use the papers up and show the papers off a little bit. So I've done that for that reason. I might actually put a pocket in here so that I can put something in, but we'll come to that as we go along. And then this side here is where your pocket, where your other flap from your second page is. Now I'm going to make that a pocket. You don't have to. Again, you can do whatever you want with it. I mean, if you want to, you can actually cut it off. It's just that I wanted to make folio where you didn't have to make any cuts. And then I've just created this flip flap. Now I've done one at 4 by 8 1/4 and one at 3 1/4 by 8 1/4. So this one then is scored at a 1/2 inch down here to create this side, and that's the same. So it's 3 1/4 by 8 1/4. So I'm making that 3 and I'm making that 3 1/2. Okay, so it's 4 by 8 1/4 and scored at 1/2 inch. 3 1/4 by 8 1/4 scored at 1/2 inch. Is it half or is it a quarter? I always forget. No, it's half. Okay, and then that creates this here. Now I want to do something with this, either a window pocket or something, I don't know, but that's the thought process behind that. I've left the back blank. We can either add pockets or we can add something else that we might come up with. So that is our folio and the way we fold it up. There will be a closure put on the front of this, and we're going to start, and I'm going to start covering all of these with some papers. So I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to just put some papers and stuff on the front and get started with the inside, covering them with papers. Now I will leave some to do on screen before we move on to where we add. I'm adding the papers because it's the first thing really that you need to do for you to be able to determine what you're going to do with your pieces that you're adding. So I'm going to stop it there and I'll be back shortly. Okay, so I've done the first bit, which is just the front part here, and I don't know what's happened to me. I'm completely bogged with different things in my head, and yeah, I'm just in a fluster for some reason. I don't know why. I can't make a decision to save my life. And then I was thinking, well, I could have that inside and that as my front cover, and I could do this and I could do that. And there's been so many things going on in my head. I don't know what it is. I went to the dentist yesterday, and I wasn't expecting to have any injections or anything, but I ended up having some injections in my mouth. And it's frazzled my brain a little bit. I mean, I was cutting up the papers, the freebies from week 3, and I thought, oh, I need a box for these. So I started faffing with a new box. So I started putting dividers in and making a new box. I then finished my domes, which I wanted to add more stuff to, which I've done. And it has worked. I actually quite like it. It probably could have done with a bit more. The smaller ones have turned out a lot better than the big, to be fair. I mean, I've managed to get some of them that are quite domed. So I'm quite happy with that. But they were on my desk, and I thought I need to find a little thing for that. So I found this little metal tin, and I thought I've got to cover it. So I've got to cover the top of that. So I've been sort of really flustered this morning with, I just can't concentrate on anything. Anyway, as I was going through this, I thought, well, I like the idea, because this mirrors each other, I like the idea of that being inside and mirroring that. And then I thought, oh, I don't know now. So as I say, I actually can't make a decision today. But I'm going to carry on because I have had a few thoughts about you covering these with papers. What you really need to make sure is that you're not adding whatever you're adding inside. So however you design your inside of your folio, whether it be waterfall, pockets, whatever it is, flips, flaps, your bookmark, anything, you're going to first need to understand that you can't cover all these with papers until you've put these in place. So the ones that are already in place, obviously, your extra flaps, they're there. So you could cover that if you wanted to, unless you're adding something onto there. So on here, for instance, although this is having a pocket, I still need to cover this with paper before I can put this pocket on. So that's going to have to stay like that, but I am going to have to cover that. For this part here, I thought, well, I might put a flap at the top and the bottom yet, because I'm leaving this as a free flap. It's not going to be made into an envelope there. I'm going to leave it as a free flap because I've created it as a large pocket. I'm going to add some pockets on the front, but that's going to need to be covered in paper before I can put the pockets on. Am I making sense so far? Because I'm not sure it's making any sense in my head. I'm putting pockets on this one, putting a journal in there so that can be covered. So you just really need to look at your folio front and back and determine what can actually be covered and what can't be covered. Okay? So think about each page as you cover it, because that's what my thought process was this morning. Yeah, we will get there. I wanted to make a focal point, obviously, on the front. Now, when I've done them before, I've always added something bigger on here and then created a tie wraparound to as a closure. I don't know what to do with this one yet, because I just cannot think about what's going on the front. And I think it's because I like the papers so much that I don't think it needs anything else. That's going to be one of the last things we do. So I just wanted to go over this though, because I found this morning when I was gluing these in, I got my glue book out and I thought, oh, I don't know what I want behind there. Everything that I've tried, these covered it up too much. And I thought, oh, I could just use book page. That'd actually be quite nice. So I actually got some book page out of my glue book because it was the handiest thing to have. And when I want to decorate with book page, I always take the rim around the white edges off. I'll put it on there so you can see. Take the white edges off so that I've only got words on. I've got no blank space. So I did that, and then on my desk I always keep a spray water and I always keep a spray bottle of coffee, and it's just coffee and water left to go cold, and then I fill this up. And all I do is when I've got pieces that I want to take the starkness off. No, I'll probably use that as a backer, so I don't need to do that. So I just spritz it with the coffee and leave it to dry. Now they do come out light. Did I do a couple more pieces? So that's the front bit. That's the bit that I actually sprayed, and that's the back of it. And this paper is absolutely wonderful. Look, feel crunch. I just love it. So I coffee dyed those and dried it off. No, it doesn't take long to dry. I'm just going to heat gun that, so just for quickness. Because I'm going to use it again in a second. And it sort of did this crinkle as I dried it, and I thought, oh, and I'd already cut my piece out. So it was sort of too big because it had struck the paper and then crinkled it in places. So I glued it down, and then I literally just forced the creases together into there, and then went over with my dobber just to highlight where that had happened. And I loved the effect, so I thought I'd share it with you. But I loved it. It sort of made this really crinkly and lovely. And I've not, I'm just going to dibby-dabby of a secondary on here, because some of these blocks, they work great for an extra bit of colour. Okay. So where you do your secondary dab, you get a darker piece, and it just gives you that extra bit of texture, if you like, and I just love it. So I love the way that they come out. And as I say, when I glued that down, these pieces will generally just naturally crease in the areas where it's you know, sort of crinkled up with the heat. But I just thought I'd share that effect with you so that you can, you know, it's just an easy way to do it. You can sort of see where the double dabs work better when there's like the droplets on here. If you catch them straight away, you can you get these extra bits, and it's just so lovely and grungy. I love it. So I just thought I'd share that with you. So what I'm going to do, just to finish off with the video now, with this first piece, I'm going to leave you to do your pages. So cover everything that you can cover in your folio, all your back pages I'm talking about. And then in the second video, what we'll do is we will put the pockets in, put our waterfall in, that will be decorated. We will pop pockets on here, put our journal in, and we'll do whatever we can in the second video so that we can finish off. And the third one will just be a finish off and full flip through. So hopefully I'll only do the 3 videos so that it's quick and easy for you to carry on. So we'll leave it there for today. Thank you so much for watching and joining me. I hope you can follow along with the video, obviously because my head's still all over the place. I probably won't get any more work done today, but I'll be back with the second video shortly. I hope you join me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.